Among the many metrics runners track, pace, weekly mileage, heart rate, there's one that consistently predicts injury risk with surprising accuracy: the distance of your longest recent run. While it may seem like a basic number, emerging evidence shows that when a runner suddenly exceeds their most recent maximum long run by a significant margin, the probability of injury spikes sharply. This pattern holds true across training levels, from beginners to competitive marathoners, and it reveals just how sensitive the body is to sudden shifts in cumulative stress, especially when that shift is disguised as a single, ambitious outing. Injury risk doesn't rise gradually with more miles. It accelerates disproportionately when runners venture too far beyond their current capacity. The key risk factor isn't just the absolute distance of a run, it's how far that run stretches beyond what the body has recently adapted to. For example, a jump from 12 to 14 miles is very different from a jump from 12 to 17. In both cases, the run may feel manageable in the moment, but physiologically, the stress compounds exponentially. Tissues like tendons, joints, and fascia don't simply double their tolerance in tandem with mileage, they lag behind, adapting over weeks rather than days. Deviations from recent longest runs appear to be especially risky because they often involve multiple stressors at once. Increased volume, prolonged repetitive loading, form breakdown under fatigue, and longer exposure to subtle asymmetries. When a runner's longest run suddenly increases by more than 20 to 25% compared to their last few weeks, the body is pushed into unfamiliar territory, and that's where injuries tend to appear, often not immediately, but in the days following. These delayed effects make it easy to miss the connection between a successful, long run and an injury that develops soon after. This doesn't mean runners should avoid long runs altogether. They're essential for endurance, mental fortitude, and event preparation. But the danger lies in using a long run as a test, a leap, or a sudden confidence builder, rather than a steady extension of prior training. The big jump long run often happens when a race is approaching and a runner feels behind. In an attempt to catch up, they may stretch a 13-miler into an 18-miler without layering in enough weeks of progressive adaptation. Even if the effort is successful on the surface, microdamage to tissues may already be accumulating below the threshold of pain. Long runs also carry more biomechanical risk because fatigue toward the end can lead to degraded form. When stride mechanics break down after 90 minutes or more, tissues experience loading in unfamiliar patterns. If a runner hasn't trained into that duration recently, their body may not be ready to stabilize joints and control force at those thresholds. That's why frequent but well-managed long runs, even if they're slower, help build injury resistance more reliably than a single, aggressive push. Importantly, studies show that injury risk increases not just from how much farther you go, but how fast you try to go longer. A modest increase in duration combined with a push in pace is a particularly risky combo, especially for runners who are fatigued, sleep-deprived, or returning from illness. In these states, both physical and cognitive fatigue reduce movement efficiency and awareness, compounding the injury risk of an already overstretched run. So, what's the safer approach? Ideally, the longest run of each week should be no more than about 10 to 15% longer than the previous week's longest run, and it should be spaced appropriately from other hard sessions. Equally important is rest after a long run. Many injuries linked to long runs don't occur during the effort, but in the next few days, when runners underestimate the need for recovery. That 15 or 18-mile run may have gone fine, but a hard interval session 2 days later could tip the scales toward injury, because the deeper tissue stress from the long run wasn't fully repaired yet. For runners building toward longer distances, the body thrives on patience and consistency, not surges. Think of your longest recent run as your risk boundary. You can stretch it, but only with respect for how adaptation works. Resilience is built not by proving what you can survive once, but by creating a foundation that can handle effort again and again without breaking. Your longest run is not just a badge of honor, it's a signal. And how you respond to it may be the difference between reaching your goal strong or sidelined.